We're back. SFMF Live Wednesday night. Had a glitch in the system or somebody in the system, but we're back. Again, everything is set. We are live. It's Wednesday night. Hopefully it is square. Can we get the monitor back up over there? I think we'll start it over. Wednesday, hump day. Back in our community. I'll get that back rolling. Welcome to the live chat. Yes, remember, guard. You're all right. Jared is back. Only me. We've been on for about 30 seconds now. This is the do-over. Do-over. Hopefully this one works and we are square. We shall see. Successfully connected and we're up. Doggone that guy. Oh, you're up. SFMF, a real MFer. I'm with you, Menachem. Kimi's back up. Candace Escobedo, Healing the Heroes, is in the house. All right, we're going to be talking about you soon. Candace, thanks for joining us. Better like and subscribe. Jared, all right. Wow, I don't know the heck what that was about either. Thank you, moderator team, all of you. Jared, yes, welcome back. Thank you, mods. All right, that was interesting. So with the trolls, somebody has told us before, all of us has said that's when you know you're kind of doing something right, because that's when the trolls start kind of messing with you. But that was a spam. That one was pretty crazy. I tried to ignore it, but I couldn't see y'all in between. There were so many of them. And I'm guessing you can see all of them too. Yeah, that's clearly what they were trying to do. That was a spam. Oh, they're back already? Oh. Or Marine Corps, where's the cyber warriors when you need them? Amen, McJunk. Haters gonna hate. I think I may be entitled to some compensation for that. Even spam bots are jealous of the Marines. I'm telling you, right? Anything to try to hold someone down. Haters gonna hate. All right. So they're messing with the rest of the channel. Is that what you're saying? All right. So again, Wednesday night, everyone, welcome. Thanks for being here. We know what this channel is all about, and we do want to share a bunch of stuff tonight. The time always flies by, so we'll try to keep it under control and within our time limit. September is Suicide Prevention Month. And here's what I'll say to start it out. I remember as a young Marine a couple years ago, maybe a couple decades ago, you didn't talk about suicide. It was something that just it was hush hush. I think then later on America learned that it's you need to talk about it, right? Because we're still losing people when they're keeping it hush hush. So it made it more of a topic of discussion. But I'm wondering if that happened too fast. We didn't discuss it enough yet. We didn't learn enough about it. When we first start saying, yes, talk about it. Yes, ask them. Because when you counsel somebody who's depressed, anxious, and they're having these problems, you don't mention that word because you don't want to put it in their head. Well, surprise, it's already in their head. So I think we've come a long way already from those times. So it definitely is something that we certainly talk about now. And here's another not so fun story I'm going to share with you. The first time I was kind of introduced to it was after a deployment. I was a first sergeant, 2-5 era, coming back from Iraq, and we lost a couple Marines. The friends of those Marines were claiming PTSD. And here's the thing. I didn't know enough about it. So I didn't know if I believed them or not, this one particular Marine, because he got in trouble, DUI, and then a fight, and just incident after incident. And it was, everyone was saying it was PTSD. Still early. It was early in the PTSD or PTS cycle where we just didn't know enough about it. Next deployment was coming up. He was trying to get out of the deployment, was the word on the street. He's just saying that so he doesn't have to deploy again. And not knowing enough about it as much as I know now, I didn't know how to deal with it. I don't think I dealt with it the right way. And here's what I'll relate it to real quick. We have kids when they're younger. I remember getting notes from teachers saying, oh, we have a child that has a peanut allergy. Please don't send your kid to school with any peanuts or peanut butter. I thought, how is that my problem? My kid doesn't have a peanut allergy. I'll send her to school with whatever we want to send her. I didn't know the gravity of it until we had a kid with a peanut allergy. So again, knowledge is power. Now it's very important to me, and I'm that parent that you better not send your kid to school with peanuts because I have a peanut allergy. So that's my come to Jesus moment with PTSD and suicide awareness. Candace is on here. You guys saw her. She's with Healing the Heroes. Her and I are friends from way back. And she was Air Force. And I'm going to talk about you for a minute, Candace. Throughout my deployments, she would talk about PTSD and are you having nightmares? Are you having dreams? And I never did. Through my deployments, and I would have some dreams, and they were kind of cool. And I remember telling her, yes, I dream about some combat, how we got some, and I was always the hero, and you know how dreams are. She said, pay attention to them. They're gonna change after a while. And I didn't believe it because it wasn't happening to me. Right there, Candace says, always ask straight up. Never ask if you're going to hurt yourself or do something silly. Cut straight to the chase and ask the hard questions. Makes a lot of sense. And she would always tell me stuff like that. She would write me letters while I was in combat and ask those questions. And again, it never applied to me because I'm a badass. I didn't worry about stuff like that. That was for other people who were weak. Big misconception right there. So it wasn't until after I retired, when I was still kind of having the dreams, because it was new, freshly retired, still working, still getting some, and still thought I was in great shape. That's why I never went to the VA for anything, because I'm a bad mother, you know what? Until those dreams started to turn into nightmares, where I wasn't in control anymore. In the dreams I had when everything was still cool, I was in control. Because Marines are service members, you're in control, and we like that. That's what motivates us, because we can control it. So those young Marines I was talking about earlier is like, what do you mean you can't control your feelings? What do you mean you drank? You didn't know why you drank so much and why you got in your car. Those are all conscious decisions that you make. Until it happened to me. And there's probably not a more vulnerable feeling in the world that I've ever felt in my life, when I felt like I wasn't in control of my thoughts, my emotions. My decision-making ability was affected because those dreams turned into nightmares. And then all of a sudden in the nightmares, I'm not in control anymore. I couldn't control the situation and my Marines around me. Then we were being overrun. I was being overrun. And my kids started showing up in my nightmares, and I could not protect them. That's a kick in the teeth. And then my actions started changing when I was awake. Self-medication, right? You hear about that all the time. People discuss it when you start self-medicating. And the VA was giving me all kinds of pain med. I got a bad neck and a bad back, and it takes me an hour to kind of wake up in the morning and move just because of my bones and carrying a pack and all those. My hearing's gone, and all these problems I had, they just kept dumping pain meds to me. Anxiety, nightmare meds. And the anxiety pills started kind of feeling good. Say it again. Sleeping pills, right? Melatonin out the butt, all these things. And then I kind of started mixing them. But then that didn't become enough, or that wasn't enough anymore. Then I added the alcohol. Drinking at night just to go to sleep. Excuse me. Sleep for a couple hours, but then I wake up because of a nightmare and then couldn't go back to sleep. So then I wanted to take another anxiety pill and then chase that. And I was hiding it from everybody. Nobody knew, is what I convinced myself of. But then the evening drinks became kind of late afternoon. I couldn't wait until the evening. And at that point, I didn't even want to go to sleep because I knew I was going to have a nightmare that I wasn't going to be in control of. And I didn't have the capacity to fathom that I'm not going to be in control. So then I tried to stay awake. And again, with all the different pills, I stopped taking the pills altogether. They weren't working because that early afternoon drink became that late afternoon drink became an early afternoon drink, right? And still nobody knows. So I thought until that early afternoon became morning drinks, and I was working, right? And I thank God every day that I didn't hurt myself or somebody else, DUI, who knows, the kind of messes that people get themselves into because of that. All this time, no control. And I think some of y'all know me well enough by now that I can't sit still. I got to a point where I didn't want to move. I didn't want to get out of bed, right? I would lay in bed and just sweat. And I'm still to this day, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. I sleep for about 2 hours and I'm up and I'm ready. If I sleep until 5:30, I've wasted half the day. And there was a period of time where I could not get out of bed. And that's when I started talking about it, because I had the same thought process that all of us tough guys and girls have. I'm not weak. I don't need help. I got this. I know what I'm doing. It wasn't until I found Jesus, my wife, and she's strong as hell, but I'm a 240-pound dude, and she had to carry me. I had no control, no power. I was powerless, man. I was vulnerable. I was like doing the cockroach in boot camp. I was nothing. Had no purpose, and it wasn't easy. And when I started going to VA, I had a card. I think I told this story before. I had a business card my partner gave me. He said, "Hey, if you ever feel like you need to talk to someone, call this number." And I looked at it. Thank you, sir. Put it in my desk drawer and never thought about it until, again, a little while into these sleepless nights. I called the number. And I didn't know what to expect. A woman answered. And I kind of introduced myself and said, why I'm calling. I'm having dreams. I kind of poo-pooed it a little bit, and didn't really get to it. And she talked about everything but my service or why I can't sleep. She didn't bring it up. We just chatted. It was the best conversation I had with somebody I didn't know and had never met. So I was like, okay, maybe these people do, because I started out like this. Did you serve? Oh, really? So how can you help me? I had that attitude right from the get-go. But a very intelligent woman, and we just had a great conversation. So I thought it was okay. But that didn't last very long. And I feel bad I didn't call her back. It got to a point where the suicide ideation came. And I started talking to them. Of course, the VA assigned me a counselor, a psychologist, and I lied to him for a couple of years. I played everything down, said, yes, I'm having trouble sleeping. Again, my wife was carrying me the whole time. Kids, I was trying to be strong in front of them. And that, don't quote me on all the timelines, but it got bad where I did have a plan. I had a couple plans, And I do have guns in the house and ammo, and they were loaded, and I got a big truck. And once I started making plans is when I knew this is serious. I'm not in control anymore. And all in the back of my mind, I can't let anybody know this. I'm a badass Marine. People look up to me. My kids look up to me. I'm strong, right? So I can't show my weakness. The biggest misconception in the world. Strong men ask for help. Strong men pray. Strong men realize when they have a problem and they need help. There was a sergeant major in 3rd Marines way back. He was like the first senior enlisted leader to ever go public with his PTSD. So he kept coming to mind in the back of my mind. Okay, maybe it does take a real man to ask for help. And I'll tell you right now, yes, real men pray, real men cry, real men ask for help, real men can tell you when they have a problem. The I'm fine guy is he's still got that chip on his shoulder, and he's not ready. He's not strong enough to ask for help yet. So it's definitely a strength thing to ask for help. Candace had told me about a gentleman, Dan. I don't know if you're here, Dan, and they were with an organization where what excited me about that is the first thing he said to me is I'm not going to ask you about any specific incident in Iraq or Afghanistan, any combat experience, because here's what happens at the VA. You see someone, you tell them your story, which is tough to begin with, and then they make some notes and they ask some auto-generated questions. How'd that make you feel? And then they put you to someone else, and then you talk to that someone else, and you got to tell the story all over again, which wasn't easy the first time, and it doesn't get any easier the second or third time. In fact, it gets worse the more you got to tell it. And then you start kind of making things up in it because you just want to get through that period where God damn, I got to talk about it again. Don't you know that I don't want to talk about it? So when Dan told me that, Dan is on. Dan Jarvis is here, Tactical Resiliency USA. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for joining us. When he told me that, we Zoomed or FaceTime. Back then, I don't remember what it was, but that just took a huge weight off my shoulders. Like he said, I'm not going to ask you about a specific incident. I'm not going to ask you about combat. And then he went through these questions, talking about my favorite song, which is One by Metallica. Still, when I hear that song today, it puts me at ease. Talking about my dog and my lazy boy and you know what TV show I like to watch. And it just brings you to a different place where you're not feeling that anxiety. You're not feeling that lack of control. The fear is gone, and you can talk. Right? It's not already. I don't want to go there. If somebody asked me about it, I was at that point where I don't even want to tell them, and it turned from being completely honest with my psychiatrist or whichever doctor I happened to see that day to now I'm going to start lying again because I don't want to go back there. So Healing the Heroes is what, that's why I asked those two to come today, Candace and Dan, and that's what that program is. So anyone on here, maybe the producer can put it up, the website. That's the mission, and please check out the website. So not only for yourself, if you know anyone, and I'm sorry you guys, I haven't been reading your comments, but hopefully you've been talking about it and people can see. But that was by far the best part of that, was not being asked those same computer generated questions. Because I tell you, again, between Dan and Candace and my wife, again, picture my wife, I'm on my wife's back and she's trudging along, man. Right there. Healingthehero.org. Got this. So a couple years later, the best part of it, I found Jesus. I had been going to church a little bit on and off. I didn't get it. I told you all the story that when I was doing color guard when I was in JOTC, brought my cadets and listened to the service, and something was clicking. It always felt like the pastor was talking to me. But until I started going to men's group, and there was some military, some not, civilians, but where you could really open up and tell without judgment to these men. There's women's group as well. And then I got baptized in the Pacific Ocean. My family was there. And although it takes a second, those of you who've been baptized, you know what it is, but that second, 2 or 3 seconds in underwater, and the hands of the men that pushed me down and then pulled me back up, it was a revelation. It was everything that, I'm telling you, even my body felt good. My neck didn't hurt anymore. My back didn't hurt anymore. Of course it does now because I don't stop PTing. But it was just everything all at once. And to come back up and see visions of God and his son Jesus, and then come to light, my whole family is on the beach. They're all holding each other. It really did, it cast a light on me that used to be a shadow. It was a very, very dark time for me where I didn't think I was going to make it. Those footprints was, yes, it was me and Jesus for a while. And then it was just one because Jesus was carrying me. And then it was another step when my wife was carrying me. So those footprints have come and gone in and out of my life, but saved my life. Absolutely. So here we are today through Jesus. Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron. That's why we've created this community, like-minded people. There's people out there that need our help. We started with 22 for 22, right? 22 service members were taking their lives every day. I don't know what the number is today, but we always say one is too many. We need to do this. Menachem, thank you, brother. We need to talk about it. We need to get to the root of the problem. No self-medication. I'm telling you, I was looking for drugs. I was living on Xanax and where I would get my next one from. I was so out of control, and I didn't even realize it. When I kept saying nobody knew I was drinking, everybody knew. I wasn't hiding anything. That's in the state of mind that I was in, that I was hiding it from everybody. Couldn't talk about it. You have to talk about it. Whew. Thank you all for indulging me in that. I'm telling you, this is it's still, years later, it's not easy to talk about. Candace says more than 22. That's the VA's official number. Too many. Amen, David. Tucker, appreciate you. Thanks for sharing. Says Lake Cookie, my dad. You know, I'm telling you, it happens. Lake Cookie's dad took his life to no badass MF. I'm telling you, you think you're, and I tell my wife this, still joking to this day, I'm unbreakable. I'm bulletproof. I'm unstoppable. I am with Jesus, right? I am with my family, and I am being able to talk about it. So it's so I hope this can help. If it helps one person. And brother, I'm talking to you, right? You're out there, you're listening, you're watching. Please share this with your friends and family and anyone else who could benefit from it. All right, let me try to read some of these. God, feel your vulnerability. Keep praying and talking to Jesus. Amen. Found Jesus at the end of my second combat tour in Al-Assad, Iraq. Changed my life. This is Bob Goodrum. Took years for the pain to go away, though. Stand strong. I'm telling you. Michael's Drones, good to see you, brother. Good evening. And the production team. Freaking ball. Come on with you, brother. Lay Cookie. Anyone needing help, we are here. Reach out. Again, production team, can you put that website up one more time? Excuse me. Healing the Heroes. Check it out. Check out the website. Read it. They have a mission and vision statement. They tell you exactly what it's going to be. Dan and Candace, thank you guys for being here. Again, we gotta help each other. Salty. Mark Hankin, Empathy. Salty says, I always end my calls with my boys from my old unit with, I love you, brother. Amen. And they always say it back. Each than every shrink ever has. We've done more for each other than anyone ever has. Yes. Amen. There it is. Healingthehero.org. Thumbs up, big arm. Good to see you. Just Dove says, I want to find Jesus. I don't know how or where, though. Always been bored of church, but now I'm lost and don't know. I don't know what church you go to, but I think all churches, they have small groups. Let the pastors know, let the ushers know that you want a relationship with God. And I'm quite certain that they'll take you in, they'll share their process with you. And it is small groups. Our church calls it small groups, and it could be two or more. And there's a verse in the Bible, Candace, help me out, that says two or more is, that's where it starts. And that's what did it for me. And I went to a couple different, it took me a little bit to find my small group before I found the one. We did men's breakfasts every now and then, and we do it at weird places, not weird places, but parking lot of a Kmart, of a movie theater. We did it at, what's my favorite place in Hawaii? What's the breakfast? Zippy's. We do it at Zippy's. So any restaurant, get some coffee, and we talk. We talk about verses, what the verses meant to us, and how we decipher that particular verse. And strangely enough, everyone has a little bit different understanding of each verse. So to hear somebody else's translation of it really, truly helped. During COVID, I tell you about this church service. During COVID, remember everything was closed down. That chaos and BS. Everything was closed down. This particular church, and somebody shared it with us on Facebook. We're not Facebook people, but somebody shared the post with me. At one of the beaches, they were going to have a church service. They shut buildings down, but they can't shut the ocean down. Amen. So this pastor and his wife and his team, they got a little dinghy boat that fit 3 of them, and got a little speaker, and they had church service in the Pacific Ocean. It was amazing. North Shore of Hawaii. Hundreds of people were coming out. There was paddle boards, there were surfers, there were swimmers, they had inner tubes. It was the best service. They're all good. The point is, you don't need a church. You don't need a building. You don't need a brick and mortar to worship. And those were some of the best services. We actually wanted to continue it there, but then they start opening things back up. But it was definitely, and people were getting baptized right there. They're already in the ocean. I didn't that day, and my kids were with me. I didn't, because I wanted our whole family to be there when we hit that spot. But I remember the pastor asking me, called me up there and he says, "What is one thing you would pray for?" And I remember telling him I lost my hearing in my right ear, and so much shooting without hearing protection. My right ear is deaf. That's my wife. That's where she sits when I'm driving. She always thinks I'm not listening to her. I can't hear out of that ear, I promise. But he he called some people out, said, "Let's put hands on Cece and let's figure this out." And they prayed on me, and to this day, I heard more out of my right ear than I had in years, and so much I kind of started me. I look back, and we're in the ocean, and there's a bunch of kids. I heard some kids, laughing, like laughing and having a good time. And I looked back, sure enough, and way out past the break, there was like 2 or 3 kids on one paddle board laughing and having a good time. I was like, a miracle. I mean, it's, I have issues with my ear at the end of the day, but it's the power of prayer. So when we say pray on it or we'll pray on it, you actually have to pray on it and work at it and stick with it. All right. Amen. Whoo. David Bryant, please stop the political comments. Oh, okay. Thanks, brother. Thanks, David. Putting them back in check. Just Dubs. Thanks, man. I appreciate it a lot. Love your videos. Keep doing what you do, man. Great person and influence. Much love. Thank you, Just Dubs. Appreciate you, brother, and continue to hang out with us. Appreciate you being here. Nope. I'm not sure what you're talking about. The Papua New Guinea. But it works. Thank you all. Thank you for listening to my story. Again, I don't know. That's a producer when I don't know if I've ever talked about it that much. Again, I've shared all of that obviously with my family. I've done a couple podcasts where I tell a little bit about it. As you can see, it's not easy still. As tough as I am, I'm not that tough after all. But yes, I can beat you in an arm wrestling contest. So it is, again, takes, I do strongly believe it takes a real man to talk about his feelings. Or woman, right? Nothing be tough about it, right? You want to be tough, right? Marines have courage under fire, absolutely 100% all day long. But you have spiritual courage. And again, it's not that I believe in God. I have a relationship with God. And that's the difference. Thank you, David Tucker. Mark, thank you, brother. With God's help, man, you can do anything with God. Greatest commandment out of all, love God and love people. Amen, Jared. Amen. Saxy's on it. I feel much closer to you as a brother for sharing. Thanks, Carl, brother. Appreciate you. And I the same. Look at my mom's here, Sharon Cece. Hey, Mom. Deep. Man, we got deep. What do we want to talk about? PT? The what? Healing the Hero. Again, Candace and Dan, if you guys are still here, once again, thanks for being there, for being here. Anyone, please feel free to reach out. And I've had over the years, and Candace and I, we really do go way back. And she's Air Force. We won't hold that against her. But it just reminds me of all those times she said, "Are you? Do you have dreams? Do you have nightmares?" And I was like, "Come on, Candace, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine." And it was that when you ask people, when you talk about it, now I know what "I'm fine" really means, right? So when people, something's wrong, you get a gut feeling, and they say, "No, I'm fine." That means ask more questions. Gunner Sharp, USMC, retired. I feel for guitar jams and fresh coffee. Feel for guitar jams and fresh coffee. Simplified jarheads. Right there, everyone. Look, Candace says, discussing this normalizes it for anyone who's been through hell. It's normal to have issues. And see, Candace knew I wasn't. When I kept telling her I'm fine, she knew I wasn't. It was just a matter of time. And she said, one time I'm going to ask you and you're going to tell me. And it took years. I know it took way too many years. And again, a regret. We all have some regrets in our life. And one is, I wish I would have manned up a whole lot sooner. Right? I was trying to be that tough guy. That I don't need help. I was lying to myself. Even the counselor, the therapist I was seeing a couple years into it, I said, I've been lying to you for the past few years. He said, I know. They're just waiting for you to start telling the truth. Yeah. It's appreciate you, Candace. You knew. I know you knew. Fair winds and following seas to all. Amen. Guns to all, to everyone here. All right. So, see how quickly an hour goes by and we restarted. We didn't get those clowns back. Ooh, amen. Candace says you had to walk your own journey to get to where you are now. I'm telling you, it's that whole peanut allergy story. That's, and I feel bad. The feelings I had, I told you in the very beginning when I started talking about it, when the kid told me I can't go on the next deployment because I think I have PTSD. Really? Do you really? Now I know, right? I don't remember that. Yeah. So this was a Marine that his girlfriend broke up with him. He had combat experience, not with me. He just happened to be at the unit that I joined later on, and he was having suicidal ideations. Bad. He was drawing stuff very, very explicit, death type devil, graphic, very graphic, of himself killing himself. Very graphic. Obviously, that was a clue right away. So I took him to Tripler, right in Hawaii, and they evaluated him, kept him for a day or two, and called me, said, "Come pick him up. He's fine." I was like, that's weird. And then a couple of days later, he was like late for work or something, and I said, "Go check on him." So I made you got to come check on this guy. He was in his room. He had tied a noose out of an extension cord, which is not easy. That's not very pliable, if malleable, if that's the right word. But he had made a noose out of it. Hankins, thank you, brother. So I sent him back. Took him back to Tripler. Again, they evaluated him one more time and said, "Come pick him up. He's fine." I couldn't believe it. And then the third time, he had an incident, went into his room, and he stopped eating. He stopped eating. He was losing tons of weight. He had a bag of Doritos, was the only thing he had eaten in who knows how long. And talking about his plan, he's still drawing stuff. Took him back to Tripler this time, and the doctor tried to tell me, "Look, we've seen him 2 times. He's fine." And I told them, "I'm not leaving until you admit him. Take his shoestrings out of his shoes, take his belt off, put him in a room. He needs some damn help." And it took a while. It took a very long time convincing these people. I told them, I'm not taking him home. I'm not bringing him back to base. He has serious issues. Sure enough, they finally got to him. They kept him. I had PCS before he came back to the unit. So I pray to God still to this day that they took care of him. He's fine and everything's well. Now his girlfriend was out of his life. I don't know if that sparked all the issues or not, but he had a problem, and it took persistence for us to get them to treat him. So hopefully that doesn't happen now. That was a while ago. I'm with you, Jordan. Metallica's one. Mark Hankins, love you, brother. Appreciate you. Always. All right. Once again, thank you all. Thank you all for sticking with us on that one. But just remember, September is Suicide Prevention Month. So let's make it every month. Let's talk about it as much as we can. Candace says, if someone is hell-bent on killing themselves, they will do it, and you'll never know. But those who don't really want to, they act out hoping that someone will stop them. That's what this kid was asking for. Somebody, please stop me. How many more signs do I have to give you? Clearly, that's what he needed. So good point. All right, everyone. Cheers. Here you go, right here. Boom. That's my new favorite, everyone. That's my new favorite. It is on my truck. I think I still owe the producer money for that one. Mental health is real, says OG. If someone has a plan and the means, that's immediate. Just talking about it is not immediate. Empathy is everything. Empathy. Good thing, Mark, that they added that to the 14 leadership traits. Now there's 15. Empathy. Michael Jones says, I didn't get to run my mile today. Chemo got me down, and I'm getting old. Come on, Michael, hang tough, brother. Man, everybody, please, prayers up for Michael Jones and the chemo, brother. That can't be. Heal first before. Don't push it. Don't push it. Hua, David Tucker, you Army? Hua. Cheers, brother. Thanks, Candace. My 9-year-old just told me she loved the EGA. Just had to throw that out there. EGA. Do we have an Eagle of an Acre one? Hurrah. Hurrah. Nobody cares what you know until they know you care. Amen. Another good one. Awesome. Yeah, that is great. Check. Hua. David Tucker. What are you doing in the Army, brother? Fill us in. Prayers up, Michael Jones from Candace. David Brown says, I witnessed as an MP several Marines committing suicide just because they were transferred to the Rock. Man, I'm telling you, those, you never know what's going on inside someone's head. And I don't want this to be a downer, but right before deployment, we lost 2 Marines before a deployment, and both of them, this was their second deployment, and one had OD'd on medication the night before. We found him as we're all falling out to load the buses to go to the airport, and he had a suicide note. He laid all this stuff out, and let everybody know this was it. He can't do it anymore. They're all bad, but a terrible one was on the way, halfway through a different deployment, halfway through a young Marine, PFC, first deployment. We stop in Germany, the normal stops on your way to combat. And he got to talk to his girlfriend. But she gave him bad news at that stop. The first phone call he got en route to combat. And that she was cheating on him, and she can't believe he left her, and it's not going to work out. Good luck on your deployment. He didn't take it very well. We get in the country, like day 3, we're out at each company's out, platoons are out at their particular fobs, we're out in the middle of nowhere. He's in a pretty bad spot. His squad. First night on watch, he's got the front gate watch of this little fob. When I say little, it's like about 1,000 square foot little position on a road that they were blocking. Dan, I want to read that, but let me finish the story if you can put it back up here. So before he goes on watch, same thing. He writes a note to his family. Mom, I'm sorry. My sister, I'm sorry. Dad, I know you wouldn't want this for me, but this is what my girlfriend told me. I can't handle it. To my squad leader, my ammo, my first aid kit, my ID card is under here. I'm sorry. To my squad, to my fire team, I'm sorry. I know you're going to be one man short now. Your patrols are going to be longer. Your watches are going to be longer. I'm sorry to everybody. He went outside the wire and used his own weapon and took his own life. Day 3 in the country. So not just a huge loss, obviously, for his family and for all of us, but the type of precedence that it set to the whole unit was not a good way to start out. Talk about it. Dan and Candace have said it. Talk about it immediately. Dan, if you could put that back up there, please. I'm ready. Nice. All right. Woo, man. All right. Here's a good dad joke for you. Be ready, and you can use this. Which days of the week are the strongest? I'll give you a minute. Think about it. Which days of the week are the strongest? Come on, somebody. I'll tell you right now, Saturday and Sunday, strongest days of the week. The other days, they're weekdays. Yes, you can do it. Friday, come on. Saturday and Sunday are the strong days. The other days, weekdays. Every day ending in the strongest day of the week. All right. That was good. Second Mardiv, combat camera vet here. All salute to you, brother. It's a good, clean dad joke. Not too many clean jokes anymore. Kimi Cocoa Puffs, you can use that. You know you're going to. Sam Tex, wish me luck, Sergeant Major. Just got my lateral move approved. Next duty station, Cherry Point, North Carolina. What was your lat move to? Remind us. Active combat camera in training here. 2 MOSs with combat in front of it. Combat camera. What's the other one? You have to be old to appreciate dad jokes. Amen. So I know Jared and Carl, you guys get these. Bob. One jelly donut coming up. Lake Hook. That's bad. There's 30 seconds in my life I can never get back. You know you're going to use it. Use it at work tomorrow. Combat engineers. Combat camera. Combat engineers. 2 MOSs with combat in front of it. Bulk fuel specialist, F-35 mechanic. Ooh, nice. All right. Good on you, Trev. Lamu, that's a great, again, for when you're out. There's another one. Here's a good one. I was up all night wondering where the sun went. Then it dawned on me. Another good dad joke. Yeah. Put your favorite. Let's hear some good, clean dad jokes. Put them up. Let's see him. Engineers up. That's a good one. What is that? Yeah, I'm not sure. Jerry, what is a camelid desire? Desiree? Desire? I stand, yeah. Yeah, Bob. That's all I got. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, another one. Yeah, that's a good joke. Kamal's going to win. That's a funny joke. Bad joke on my part. Anderson Ho, you taking off, brother? Have a good night. Thanks for being here. Always. Appreciate you. All right. The bank keeps calling me, giving me compliments. They tell me my balance is outstanding. All right. There you go. Good, clean dad joke. Say it again. You're broken up. I asked my date to meet me at the gym. She stood me up. I guess the two of us aren't going to work out. Nice. It's a good gym joke. I'm with you, Bob. No DEI for president. Matt, Semtex. Did I miss one? Oh, awesome. Yeah, of course, that's my kids. I got a ton of dad jokes, and I'm funny. I just can't think of any. No. Which one? No, I mean, what's your favorite dad joke? Why couldn't a coffee bean go to the Halloween party? Because it got grounded. uh, isn't that what Sergeant Major is? Yes, of course. I got the best dad jokes. Noemi, get in there. All right. How about military jokes? Not this same old Marine crayon joke. And yes, green is my favorite crayon. Great Sergeant Major, he started a dad joke tsunami. Hear one about the scarecrow who won an award? He was outstanding in his field. Yes. Yes. Good, clean dad jokes. All right. Yes, it did start a tsunami. Thanks for the brevity. You're going to enjoy breakfast today. What do you got, Bob? Good morning, Barum. Joe, signing off for now. Good night, everyone. Rah. Thanks for joining us. Everyone, thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. I can't see the numbers, but once again, love this community. This is what it's all about. Appreciate all of you. Double tap the screen, like and subscribe, tell your friends. Let's continue to grow this community. This is amazing. What do you get when you cross a helicopter and a rhinoceros? Hell if I know. Yes. Good one. Good one. Steak and eggs for breakfast, says Bob. Thanks for what you do. Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate you, brother. And we do this for all y'all. Michael Jones says, Eagle Globe and Anchor, Semper Fi, Era. Bam. Love from India. Love when we have foreign countries here. And other services, other branches of services. Man, we didn't do that community post yet. What branch you're in? What were the questions we were going to ask? What branch? MOS? Where you served? My dad was a jarhead. No dad jokes there. You didn't give me any dad jokes? What do you call a pig that does karate? A pork chop. Yes. At the tone, the time will be like 7 o'clock and 7 seconds. Like o'clock and 7 seconds. All right. Man, what a great transition. Again, and thank you all. Thank you all for hanging with us on that as well. Remember, all of you men and women, there's women's groups, the importance of men's group. I can't stress it enough. What we talk about a lot is how the men's groups are, again, like what's that, Jen? No judgment here, and that's what it is. And some stuff really comes out. You get to express and get different ideas of what each passage means. And I remember a pastor telling me one time, don't try to read the Bible cover to cover. He had, and it's way too confusing that way. So he started with, I don't know why, like pick, if you're going to Acts, read all of Acts. Read all of one section, but don't try to read it from cover to cover. And that helps. And now I told y'all we talked about the Bible app. That always helps too. That helped a lot by just, and even not just reading different sections, but on the Bible app, you can put in how you're feeling that day. You get anxious, happy, sad, mad, angry, whatever you're feeling, plug that in, and it'll give you verses just on that feeling to help you out for the day. Candace has a joke. Did you hear about the accident on post? A take ran over a box of popcorn and killed 2 colonels. Yes. Money. I'm on a 6-day streak on the Bible app. Good on you, Matthew Askren. Good to see you, brother. Been hiding out. 6-day streak on the Bible app. It keeps track of that too. I'm telling you, check out the Bible app. It does, and it makes you. So look at Matthew doesn't want to break his streak. Gives you more time within the Bible. Absolutely. I love that part about the Bible app. And you can invite friends. So invite your family, Matthew. Grace Stream Sergeant Major, remember September is Suicide Prevention Month. Call or text this number, 988, 24 hours a day. 988, Carl. Appreciate you sharing that, brother. Candace, good night all. Remember, we're always here for you. Candace, thank you so much for joining us. Dan, if you're still here, thank you both so much. Go to the website, maybe one more time. Producer, if you wouldn't mind putting it up. It is an amazing process, not associated with the VA. Did I cover that? Healing the Hero. It's a different aspect, different way of talking about. I remember the worst part about me seeing the VA going, I was going once a week. Then finally I got to twice a month and then once a month. But I don't know how many times I had to tell a story that I didn't want to tell. David Bryant says, support. Thank you, Sergeant Major. This group is a blessing. Amen, brother. Thank you. What is that you keep playing? Love you, Candace. Thanks, sister. We'll see you again soon. Sunday. Join us on Sunday. Yes, thank you, Dan. There it is. One more time from the producer, healingthehero.org. Amen, Candace and Dan. Thanks, Kimmy. Ephesians 3:10. What is it, Randy? I don't know it offhand. One of the biggest problems with church today is 2 Corinthians 11:3. People distort the true gospel, and that muddles up the rest of the Bible. Amen. Again, another great thing that I remember hearing my pastor tell me, it's not, and this dates me also way back, my first trip to Okinawa. The guys would stand on the corner and push the Bible. We called them Bible thumpers. It was like they were trying to throw it down our throats. And they were Marines and they were staff NCOs. So we thought, oh my God, he's a staff sergeant. We better listen to him. But it was the wrong approach. And that turned a lot of us away at the time. And you don't just believe in God. Once you have a relationship with God, it becomes completely different. And then that relationship with God becomes an intimate relationship with God. That's when you're there. Life-changing. All right. Thanks, Dan. Peace be with you all. Marcus Jones. All right, Sergeant Major, what kind of tires I want to hit the sack? Hope you have a good night. Take care, Michael Jones. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for hanging. Feel better, brother. Please feel better. Take it easy. Listen to the doc. He tells you rest and relax. Listen to him. Get better first. Most of those street preachers are Calvinists, and that's a wrong doctrine. Amen, Bryce. Remember, Jesus was never thumping folks on the head to follow him. Amen. Candace, right there. Like I said, my last comment is supposed to mean I am kind of tired. Oh, kind of tired. I got to go to bed. Hit the sack, brother. Again, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. And I mean it. Listen to the doctors. If they tell you to rest, rest. To who? Yeah. Yes. How about, and you guys hit it earlier, but can we give a shout out to our moderators, please? They're keeping the trolls at a minimum, right? We still got some sneaking in here and there. Thank you to the moderators for keeping it real. We're here for all the right reasons. This is an amazing community. The moderators are on it. Thank you all. Best wishes is not, the best witness is not preaching, it's living your life for God. People will notice the difference and will want the same peace. Amen. Bob, that was great. 100%. Smash the like button. Double tap. And he wasn't yelling at people like crazy. He wasn't yelling at people like crazy person either. He didn't have a bullhorn pushing it down your throat. Those were Bible thumpers, and they never appealed to any of us. JT, Kimi, the hammer. The mods are swinging the band hammer like the true champions. Yes, they are. Thank you to all who help do what you do. Can you please drop the links and channels to that are trying to grow? Yes. Jesus didn't drive a Mercedes. No, he did not. How about the Cadillacs? The black Cadillacs. Who remembers those? Nope. He drove a donkey. Yep. Whew, man. Yes. Good stuff. Awesome. The black Cadillacs. Dating us too. Who remembers those? Uniforms were a lot different. Now, the Marine Corps didn't change as many times as all the other services. We talked about our digis, the digital MARPAT uniform. We tested for 12 years before we bought it. Other services, they see something new, they like it. Hey, let's buy 10,000 of these, 200,000 of these, hand them out, and then find out that they don't work and they don't like them. The Marine Corps tested that MARPAT uniform for over a decade before they purchased for the entire Marine Corps. And it paid off. We haven't changed it since. Matthew, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, Matthew. Thanks for hanging out, brother. If you haven't already, everyone, order some bacon wrapped stuffed chicken. Amazing. Make it a day 7 on that app. Yes. And Matthew, keep it up, brother. Don't let that streak break. Added some StreamYard app. Guess what happens next? StreamYard. You like that StreamYard, don't you, Bob? Dave says you could put a family of 6 in the trunk. Love the ripstop. The camis. I did too. I did too. I liked what I didn't like about. Remember, we starched the hell out of the old ones, where you couldn't even watch or you couldn't even walk. Jared said, just my opinion, but if the high brass wants to know what works, they need to ask the Marines in the trenches. Jared, amen. And that goes for every job, every organization, military, civilian. You want to know what's happening, get the PFCs, the privates and the PFCs, and ask them, does this piece of gear that we just spent $1 trillion on work? And I'd tell you, the PFC said, no, you should have asked me before you spent that $1 billion. I could have told you. Could have saved you a lot of money, a lot of headache. Get with the people who are using the product, who have used it, who live it every single day. Don't plan in a box. You plan, the Marines will really like this. No, how about you ask the Marines before you make that decision? Get their input. Get the ones that are currently using the system or a system. Ask them before you make any decisions. If you, Leadership 101, remember where you came from. Done. If you do that, and still, as you move up the chain of command, I remember one day I was playing football, and I think I was a staff NCO by now, and one of our best linemen was a Lance Corporal, big dude, center. He was our center. We really needed him. We had a game coming up, and he said he's not going to make the game. And I was like, what are you talking about? You can't. You have to be there. You're the center. He said, no, I have duty. What do you mean you have duty? And this is me as a staff NCO. Give that to someone else. It's not that easy when you're a Lance Corporal. You can't just give it to someone else. He said, I'm the A duty. I said, it doesn't matter, bro. You got to be at the, hello, priorities. You got to be at this football game. Tell them you're not going to be there. You can't do that as a Lance Corporal. So it just reminded me, because I'm thinking as a staff NCO, I have SDO, I'm the OOD. Somebody else is going to stand that for me. It's easier the higher rank you go. So you can't forget where you came from. Really, Lance Corporal, let's try and work this out. Who's your staff NCO? Let's talk about this. You got to plan for it better. So don't forget where you came from. All right, this clown is back. One thing I can't unremember from my SDI is that people will always be jealous of you. Amen. McBooger. That's a good one. People will always be jealous of you. And that's that equalizer that this one very intelligent woman told me one time. It's called the equalizer. When your game is so good, you're at the top, it's hard to meet you at the top. So what people do is they try to break you down to bring you to their level, right? They want you to be a 3. You're on a scale of 1 to 5. You're at 5. Your game. You're on top of your game. You're doing well. Their equalizer is not to work hard to meet you. They want to bring you down. So you're at their level now. Wrong answer. Keep pushing. Never lower your standards. Keep your standards high. Raise the bar. Your expectations, however, may drop. If you're in one of those organizations where everyone's standards are low, it's frustrating. You got to do what you can to help them raise their own bar, to raise their own standards. Not that everyone's standards may be a little different, as long as they're high. Watch out for those equalizers. Those are the haters, right? Those are the trolls. Something as simple as this. Those are the trolls. Instead of creating their own page and try to create a community and do good for people, they rather bring everyone else down, right? You're in an organization where your standards are extremely high and you want nothing but to make 1% better every single day. You're going to bust your butt to make it better. That's hard work, and it takes work, and you're going to take people out of their comfort zone. They're not going to want to work extra hard to make it. We're good right where we are. This is fine. Collecting a paycheck, no one's getting hurt. It's a good unit. How about making it the best unit possible? Told you it's easy going into a bad unit. Anything you do is going to improve the unit. Once you stop trying to improve it, that's where you failed. That's where it's time to move on. That's where it's time to find a job that you do want, or an organization you do want to make better. Because if you don't, you're in somebody's way. You're in somebody's way that wants to make it better. Everything you do. David Bryant, unfortunately, I think you're right, brother. You're always going to have shitbirds. You are. That 10%. Spend 90% of your time on the 10%. Every organization has them, even in the civilian community, has their 10%. 10%. John, Jim, Johnny, 2 pounds. Hello from Greece. 7 for 5, brother. Thank you very much. Randy says, if you don't believe you're the best, stay on the ground. Nice one. If you don't believe you're the best, and how about if you don't act like you're the best? Stay down then and get out of the way. What was that saying? How's that saying? Lead, follow, or get out of the way? One of them right there. Lead, follow, or get out of the way for the people who do want to lead. All right, okay, we're back yet again. John McJunkin, come back. Let's get a question. Who you got with you today, John? Yes, thank you, John, Jim, Johnny. Hello from the U.S. Joshua, hello, brother. I used to say, help me or get out of my way. Amen, Jared. Jake from Texas. Jake Awesome from Texas. Yeah, that's right. We haven't seen him in a while. And who's our new Marine? What was his call sign? Just graduated? Birdman. Where's Birdman? The new Marine. Where is he? Jerry. Rah. What? Are they back? Lead, follow, or get out of the way. I always liked that one. Didn't understand it till midway through my career about being a good follower first. Maybe because I never wanted to be a follower. I just always wanted to be a leader. But I realized, yes, you got to be a good follower first. But there's time limits to that too. How long can you just follow, especially when the leader is not out there getting some, wanting to lead? forcing you to be better. Good leaders make, man, it'll come to me in a minute. Troop coward in a fire. I always hate it when a troop coward in a firefight. That happens, Carl. Yes, it again, unfortunately, it has happened. I've seen it. What is that one saying though? A good leader makes the unit better. Good leader makes his life better. It'll come to me in a minute, but a great leader makes everyone's life better. Something to that effect right there. There's leaders that, again, get in that position and make their life better. But a great leader will make everyone else's life better. Something to that effect. Things got a real 260 knots. Is that fast? I don't know knots. I think it's a sailor term. The sailor term, Randy? Excuse me. Cadet Moore asks, Sergeant Major, sir, what physical traits did you still need help with in boot camp? What physical traits? Good question. I never got a 300 PFT. So physical traits did you still need help with in boot camp? Yeah, to run faster. Again, that was the only part I failed in. I got an 18:30 was my fastest run time when 18 minutes is a perfect score. I just couldn't get it. I don't know if this is my asthma. I don't know what kind of excuse I could give, but I didn't run enough. Right? I didn't thrash myself enough. 18:30 was my best time, and I'll briefly relive that story. A drill instructor on a final PFT, drill instructor from another company said, who wants to run an 18-minute 3-mile? Of course, a lot of us raised our hand. He said, you stay with me, you'll get 18-minute run time. So we took off, and a small handful of us stayed with them all the way to the turnaround, MCRD San Diego. It's a big L along the flight line. I don't know the distance, but the turnaround, the start and finish line is the same. So you take off, make a left at the fence, turn around, come back, and I'm telling you, it's the easiest route. And we went out, turnaround point. The times were good at the halfway mark, and turnaround coming back. When we rounded that last corner, you can see the finish line from there, about a minute and a half away or something. And the timer's yelling out the times, and 17:30, 17:40, 17:50. Weren't even that close yet. And the drone instructor kind of sped up a little bit. All of a sudden, the timer, you can hear him say 18 minutes. I'm like, what the heck? I think he did it on purpose, sabotaged me and anyone else that was running with us. Or he got weak that day and he couldn't run a 300 PFT. Sucker? I wish I knew his name. Look him up right now and find him. So I got an 18:30. And I think I could have made it. I could have ran the 18 minutes if I had a better pace guy. Salty says, my fastest run PFT time was 17:33. Hurrah. That's awesome. Jared. Oh, say it again. Oh, any tips for a newly promoted Marine staff sergeant? Newly promoted staff NCO. Great transition, brother. Great promotion. Now you're in the staff NCO ranks, the staff and officers. Staff. Yes. First one is we just talked about shortly. Don't forget where you came from. Take care of all your troops below you, but don't forget where you came from. And then continue education. Take your college classes if you haven't already, MOS related classes, and take care of your Marines. You are a staff NCO now. You have more power to take care of them. So if there's times that you wish, man, how come our staff sergeant didn't get us coffee? It's freezing cold in the field. And when that staff sergeant says, I didn't get no coffee when I was in the field, don't be that guy that makes you suffer because his staff NCO made him suffer. One of the other reasons why I wanted to stay in, so I could take care of more people. I wanted to get promoted. from Staff Sergeant to Gunny so I could be a company gunny, take care of the whole company. I just wanted more Marines to take care of, to serve, and know that as a staff NCO, you work for them. Get that in the back of your head. You need to make them better Marines. All right, great question. Support our veteran-owned businesses. Welcome back, Menachem. John McJunkin, I saw you had a cadet ask a question. Please put that back up. Don't become a staff infection, become a staff sergeant. Don't be an E6, be a staff sergeant. That's a word, big, huge, what do you call it? Not a compliment. You want to dog somebody, call them an E6. Call Staff Sergeant E6 Jones instead of Staff Sergeant Jones. I have to run off, be with my great grandkids. Take care, Bob. Semper Fi, brother. Hello to your grandkids. Once I got a 300, I slacked off. Then, man, I wish I would have got a 300. Another regret. Didn't do it. Veteran-owned business, ArielResupplyCoffee.com. Check them out. Randy, ITS, Arrival, PFT, light rain and cold. Only 300 PFT in my life. Good on you. Congratulations. Great grandkids. God bless. Young Marine Teague asks, Sergeant Major, sir, what's your advice for young Marines about education? The Young Marine program or Young Marines? If you're talking about young Marines, stay in school, graduate, pick a college you want to go to now. Young Marines, active duty young Marines, it's the same. Continue your education. Continue it, especially now with everything's online. You can take classes online. As a Marine, tuition assistance, let the government pay for your classes. Don't wait till you retire and then pay for it out of pocket like somebody did. Get as much schooling in as possible. Even the 03 infantry community can take classes. Another veteran-owned business, maxbelts.com. Awesome belt. SFMF-merch.myshopify.com. All right. Showed you my favorite sticker. Which one? Stay in school, because then you're like me, everywhere rolling. Stay in school. Yeah, I just was talking to somebody earlier, another dad. One of my daughters is in the college application process of her life right now. My dad was telling me he had a friend of his son's that dropped out of school. He said, I'll just get my GED and I'll worry about it later. And the dad tried to tell this young man, what do you think that GED is going to do for you later on in life when you want to do something bigger and better? Who is, if you owned a company and you had two people you were looking at to hire for your company, a kid that graduated school or a kid that got a GED? It's common sense, buddy. Stay in school. Get your diploma. Look at colleges. Start taking college classes now. So yes, stay in school. One of my buddies in my first unit, I missed it. Rolling. You guys are rolling. Healingthehero.org. All right. You can train to be miserable. You don't have to be miserable to train. I like that one, Randy. And I always drove me crazy when you had some leaders like, oh, it's raining, no tents tonight. We need to learn how to live in the rain and be miserable. No, you don't have to learn how to do that. If it happens, it happens. You don't have to train to be miserable. It makes no sense at all. You're Marines, you're going to suck it up. You're going to adapt and overcome. Why would you train miserably? Because what if it doesn't happen? And then you did it for no reason. Don't do it. No, you can train to be miserable. You don't have to be miserable to train. Amen. Got a 3M PFT twice as a fat body. Good on you, David. Poolees. Kirkland asks, why are they going so fast? Did you ever feel bad for a recruit or a Marine that either got medically discharged or forced out due to budget cuts? 100%. Absolutely. We lost some good Marines when they do cuts. After a combat deployment, they start doing cuts. Some good Marines get forced out, medically discharged as well. You don't like to see anyone discharged unless it's on their own decision. So no, never liked them. Boot camp saw a couple kids get discharged because of injuries. In the fleet, the same, saw people were medically discharged. I think the government does try to take care of them if it's a legitimate reason, right? A service-connected injury or disability, definitely. But yeah, I'd never like to see Marines get out that are forced out for one of those reasons. Jared says, I'm training to be a miserable old fart. Yeah. Yes, can't wait to be that miserable old fart. Keeping up with the Joneses. Never need to keep up with the Joneses. 5800, David Bryant. MP, right? Good luck, Poolee, Kirkland. Good on you, McBooger. My favorite digs, things, and hogs, and hog body. 2025, 1980. JT. Jones. Trump 2024. Era. Scrody McBooger. I worked with SEALs when I was a security contractor in Afghanistan. Same feeling as you had. What? That's way too fast. I missed the very. I worked with SEALs when I was contracting. Same feeling you had. They were treated like bag nasties. Okay, it's getting loud down there. The SEALs made us feel like bag nasties. Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed it. Sorry, Salty. Yeah, thanks for cluing me in. So the Navy SEALs made you feel like bag nasties. I don't know if I ever experienced anything like that. And the SEALs were on a different level, so I felt inferior. So yeah, working with special forces or people that I thought were inferior to us kind of made me want to train harder. I said, man, look at them. Those guys are squared away. How do we get there like that? How do we get like that? That's that, again, that don't lower your standards, lower your expectations, but raise your standards. Cadet Tapia asks, has there ever been a Marine that lost their limbs in war that still were able to become drill instructors after they were medically cleared? Great question. I don't know about drill instructors, but there's Marines that came back in after they got their prosthetics, had to pass a PFT. I don't know about how many limbs. I know there's been some. Anybody know for a fact? But I know it took them to pass a PFT. And the story I heard, and I don't know how true this is, once we started having the amputees and double amputees, that's what it is. A Marine asked to come back in. And the general's like, well, no, son, you don't have any legs. He's like, sir, I can pass a PFT right now. He said, how about a CFT? Can you carry somebody out of the combat zone? And this Marine picked the colonel up, or the general up, put him on his back and ran. General says, re-enlist this guy. Again, I don't know how true that is. I'd like to believe that it is, but you have to be able to pass a PFT. Hope so. Thanks, Carl. Man, how that time flies. But great question. Can a Marine come back, or any service member come back in as an amputee? I'm sure there's limits, and by now there's probably regulations or a SOP on what limbs can be missing and what can you still accomplish. Yeah. Thanks, Carl. Appreciate you. Man, Marines, RTS after amputation are heroes in my book. I'm telling you, how can you take a Marine out? Here's a story similar to that. We had a Marine in training break his back. We were the Helo company at the time. It was with 2-5 again. And we were doing spy rigging. Spy rigging is where they drop the rope out of the hellhole of a helicopter. You grab the rope and slide down. That's not spy rigging. We were, man, what's that called? Fast roping. We were fast roping. So again, the helicopter's hovering above, opens the hellhole, the big open in the middle of it, and everyone grabs the rope, slides down, boom, slides down, boom, and then you attack. Get in a defensive position. It happens pretty quick. It burns your hands a little bit, but the rope is designed. You're wearing gloves, so it doesn't burn your hands up. This guy was a 240 gunner, so he had a little extra weight on him. And as he was sliding down, the helicopter hit a pocket of air and it went up real quick and then went down real quick. So he hit the ground a whole lot faster than he really wanted to. And he landed on his back, on his pack, with the extra barrel and the 60. He had too much weight, and of course the helicopter broke his back. This was during training. So, we send him back. He goes to the hospital. He's wearing a back brace and he's healing, but by the time we go to deploy, he wasn't healed all the way. But of course, we're loading the buses, weeks later, a month later, it's dark. We're doing head counts before we take off to go to the airport, get some, Iraq. And we have one too many. And so we're, flashlights, name, count off 1, 2, we still got one too many. Sure enough, it was him with the broken back, had his back brace on, all his gear, and it was dark, but he goes, hey, Schmuckatelli, is that you? He's like, no, I'm good to go. With the back brace on. That's how bad he wanted to deploy. Had he been able to, of course, we couldn't take him with the broken back. His back was still broke. But that's the motivation to the Poolees question, the young Marines, the cadets question. Yes, Marines want to serve. All right. Spy rigging is when you're hooked in the rope and the helo picks you up. Yes, spy rigging is awesome. Only for a little while. And it is. The rope's laid out, you're hooked in, you have a seat, your harness, and it picks you up and you're flying these short distances. And we used to, all the time in Hawaii, Okinawa, we seem to do it a lot, like to go from island to island where the helicopter can't land. Awesome tool. Your hands are free. So you get your weapon, you can see what's going on, you get down, boom, unhook. Here's the problem, is when somebody on top throws up, can hold his MRE because of the motion and the movement, and yes, that's happened a couple times. Seen it. There was even an accident where the helicopter didn't go up high enough and he took off. They go straight up and then they take off and you're flying. The last guy was kind of hitting some treetops. I'm sure that didn't feel too good. But spy rigging is fun. It's a good time. Spy rigging done wrong can hurt you. Amen. Yes. And to your wife, Mrs. Sawyer asks, where do you hail from? You look like you may be Italian or Greek. I am Italian. My family's from the East Coast. But I am Italian. My father is Sicilian. I'm from California, though. They moved out west by the time I was born. No Helo World. So I was the Helo company 2 times with 5th Marines. You're just using my excuse. They both stink. What are you talking about, Carl? What's up? Sergeant Major Sevillano from 2014. URAH. Kicking it. What are you doing now? What are you up to? What service did you join? Because video games can fake you, goofball. Yes, I did see that question. Here's what I like when people ask, and maybe it's just me. Some of you Marines out there can chime in and let me know what you think, but I have no interest in playing paintball or airsoft, playing the wars. I did paintball once after a couple deployments and just did not like it. There's nothing about it that I enjoyed being shot at, and when and maybe it triggered something. It's it's a false sense of everything because you're not going to die by a paintball. Maybe that's why I have no interest in it. So even all the video games, Call of Duty and all this stuff, never once interested me to play any of them. Maybe it's just me. Has anyone in here call you by your first name? Sorry, Major. That is my first name, Jared. Cece. I go by Cece from playing sports and before the Marine Corps and then all throughout the Marine Corps. Cece. Gunny Grainer asks, what's up, Guns? Good to see you. McFluffy here. Got out of morning PT again and morning run. What shall we do with them? Personally, I'm thinking of something horrific. How about some burpees? Burpees are always good. 22. When we punish ourselves, we do 22 for 22. And burpees is a good workout for McFluffy. I think he owes us 22. You got to hit the rack soon, Sleepy Pants. Yes, McBooger. I think so. Again, we've been killing it. Carl, how we looking? Just kidding. Don't get me on the time. Because, you know, if you're waiting on the sergeant major, right, colonel can't be late to his own formation. But if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. What year? Oh, yeah. No, I don't know if I know enough about that. Notograph. Would anyone be interested in notifications? Like if via text or has anyone ever heard of Notograph? Would you like to be notified of the live, like for instance, or anything else happening in the SMF world? Would you like to be notified? Say something's coming up, we have a new sticker out, we have a new shirt out, or we're going to be somewhere. We still need to hook that up. Or if a live is going to be pushed a day or not, or canceled altogether, would you like to be notified of something like that via text? Not that we're going to text back and forth, but it's a notification process. Let us know in the comments. The producer is watching. He glazed right by your question, David. Did I miss a question? It's already gone. John McJunkin asks, told the gunny I have a good excuse. No excuses are good. First of all, McFluffy, my parakeet was not feeling well and needed to be cared for. Honest, take your parakeet on the run with you. David, 1995. 1955? Come on, son. David, right. 10-minute wrap up. Look at a couple decades ago, right? I was in high school. 80s music is my favorite, right? The 80s were the best decade. What? 1986? Wow. Thanks, producer. I guess there's no secret now. So our major won't divulge his exact age or estimate year, but I know. Thanks, Jared. 1990. How about that? Randall Knapp, how you doing, brother? We had an inspection in Charlie's once. The inspecting officer, Lieutenant Colonel, showed up in camis. Our master guns dismissed us immediately and corrected the officer. Awesome. Not that I have anything against officers, but I always love to correct an officer here or there. And that's a perfect opportunity. The Master Guns was 100% right in doing that. Nothing disrespectful about that. No way, not 86. 6 years later. David Bryant, that's when you came in? I created an 18-hour-long 80s only playlist on my Spotify account. It's pure perfection. 80s music is when music was music. 100%. I'm with you. Again, funny, at the gym today, I try to listen. I plugged in my Spotify 2024 metal music. It was some stuff I couldn't even understand what they're saying. There was no rhythm to it. I felt like one of those old guys. What is this junk that kids listen to nowadays? It was, I might be one of those old guys. It was junk. It was noise. So I went right back to 80s rock era. I'm a 1991 Marine, 18 years old in 91. We're about the same age, Jared. Camis in town was Article 15 enlisted in 1980. Still is. No camis in town. And I stand by this till the day I die. No camis out in town. Keenan Lindsay, good to see you, brother. The 80s were not the best generation for music. What? What generation was? What is better than the 80s? Besides the 60s, now that's some good music right there. What is better than the 80s, Keenan? We're waiting. Graduated from MCRD San Diego Kilo Company, 3063 on 8/22/86. Randall, all right. August 22. Oh, boot. I got you by a couple weeks. Oh, yeah. No, it was 1990. A couple weeks before you, Randall. 3rd Battalion also, 3024. 3082. 3082. 3082. Salty, thank you. Worked hard over and over about 6 hours. I'm telling you that I went 18 hours of 80s music. It doesn't get no better than that. Yeah, okay, 60s and 70s. I like the 60s as well. 70s starting to change a little much, but yes, 60s also, the golden oldies, awesome music. Uncle John, or as some Marines include Gunny 6, call him McFaddy, or Gunny G, McFaddy. Works hard, but he could stand to lose about 7 to 10 pounds. That's it. That's nothing. Easy day. But you still owe us 22 burpees. All right. We're going to land this helicopter out of the hellhole, fast roping. Real quick on the stickers and the shirts. Where you see I'm wearing, this is the OG right here. This is the OG original. It's what? We will have a special on t-shirts soon. Real quick, my SFMF merch.myshopify.com. Remember, support all your local veteran-owned businesses. Yes, I'm going through these quick. C-130, rolling down the strip. Saving that one for last. This devil dog right here. I almost wore this shirt tonight. Little Reaper. The shiny. Another shiny. Yep. No military age male in this classic right here. Oh. All right, landing the helicopter. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for another awesome live stream. It is Wednesday. We'll see you on Sunday. We are back at it Sunday, 1 hour earlier. Don't forget. We appreciate all y'all being here. Appreciate you indulging me in this is it, PTSD, Suicide Prevention Month, September. All month long. Don't let it stop ever. Continue to talk about it. You heard from our friends Candace and Dan on talk about it. Get it out there. Takes a real man, real woman to talk about issues you have. The I'm fine is not fine. So stay on them. We'll see you again Sunday. Motivation. Continue growing this community of like-minded warriors. God bless you all. Be safe, but be aggressive. Semper Fi, my friend. Era.